The courtroom was a furnace of whispers, a cauldron where lives boiled down to decisions. Elliot Harper sat in the back, his heart a drumbeat, watching his twin brother Nathan slump in chains as the judge's gavel fell like a guillotine. 10 years for armed robbery. Nathan's son, Liam, only 6, clung to Elliot's hand, his small fingers trembling as his father vanished into the system. Elliot had always been the softer twin, the one who painted murals on community center walls, who loved fiercely and openly, even when their small Ohio town spat venom at his truth. Nathan, his mirror in face but not in soul, had chosen a darker path, anger, rebellion, and a gun that led him to this day. As the courtroom emptied, Elliot knelt before Liam, whose brown eyes mirrored Nathan's, and promised, "I've got you, kid. We're family." But in his chest, fear bloomed. Could he raise a child in a world that judged them both? The first months were a storm. Elliot's one-bedroom apartment in Cincinnati's over-the-Rhine district, once a haven of canvases and coffee mugs, became a fortress for two. Liam's nightmares woke them both, cries for a father who couldn't answer. Elliot, at 32, was no parent, but he learned cereal for breakfast, bedtime stories, and the art of dodging questions about Nathan's absence. The neighborhood, a patchwork of artists and dreamers, embraced them. Mrs. Carter, the elderly baker next door, slipped Liam cookies. Javier, the barista at the corner cafe, taught him to draw superheroes. Yet whispers followed Elliot, some warm, some cruel, about the gay man raising his brother's son. Elliot's life had never been easy. Coming out at 17 in their conservative town had cost him bruises and his parents' approval. Nathan had been his defender then, fists flying to protect his twin, but that bond frayed as Nathan's choices grew reckless. Now, with Nathan gone, Elliot poured his love into Liam, determined to shield him from the world's sharp edges. He took Liam to art classes, where the boy's sketches, wild, colorful bursts, revealed a spirit unbroken by loss. But every night, Elliot stared at Nathan's old letters from prison, each one colder than the last, and wondered if blood could ever mend what time had torn. School brought new battles. Liam, now 7, faced taunts for his weird uncle and fatherless home. One afternoon, Elliot found him behind the school, fists balled, tears streaking his face after a bully's cruel words. "Why can't Dad be here? Why's everyone hate us?" Liam sobbed. Elliot's heart cracked, but he pulled Liam close, whispering, "They don't know us, Liam. We're stronger than their words." That night, he painted a mural on their apartment wall, a vibrant tree with roots deep and branches wide, a symbol of their unbreakable bond. The community center became their sanctuary. Elliot volunteered there, teaching art to kids who, like Liam, carried heavy stories. One evening, as Elliot cleaned paintbrushes, a new volunteer caught his eye. Marcus, a social worker with a warm laugh and eyes that saw through Elliot's guarded smile. Marcus, openly gay and unapologetic, spoke of hope and change, stirring something in Elliot he hadn't felt in years. Their talks over coffee turned to late-night walks, then stolen kisses under streetlights. For the first time since Nathan's arrest, Elliot dared to dream of love, not just for Liam, but for himself. But shadows loomed. Nathan's letters grew sparse, then stopped. Rumors reached Elliot that his brother was entangled with a rough crowd in prison, men who thrived on power and fear. Elliot shielded Liam from the truth, but the boy's questions grew sharper. Is Dad ever coming back? Elliot's answers faltered, each lie a weight on his soul. He threw himself into his art, painting a city mural that drew crowds, a cascade of colors telling stories of struggle and triumph. Liam, proud, helped paint a tiny star, his mark on their world. Yet Elliot felt the clock ticking, Nathan's release date 5 years away, a storm on the horizon. Marcus became their anchor. He taught Liam to play basketball, his patience softening the boy's edges. One night, As they sat on Elliot's couch, Liam asleep upstairs, Marcus took Elliot's hand. "You're doing more than raising him," he said. "You're giving him a life." Elliot's throat tightened. He wanted to believe it, but doubt gnawed. Could he be enough when Nathan returned? The question haunted him as he watched Liam sleep. The boy's face peaceful but fragile, a canvas waiting for the future to paint its truth. Years carved their mark on Elliot and Liam's world. Liam, now 10, grew lanky, his sketches sharper, his questions about Nathan bolder. Elliot balanced his art, odd jobs, and Liam's needs, each day a tightrope walk. Marcus moved closer, his apartment a block away, their relationship a quiet fire warming their lives. But Nathan's shadow lingered, a ghost in every milestone. Liam's first basketball game, his science fair win, the way he'd pause at mentions of Dad. Elliot's murals spread across Cincinnati, each one a story of resilience. The community center thrived, a haven for misfits, where Liam found friends who didn't care about his uncle's identity or his father's past. Yet prejudice lingered. At a parent-teacher conference, a mother sneered, "Liam needs a real family." Elliot's jaw clenched, but he smiled for Liam, who stood tall, saying, "Uncle Elliot is my family." The words were a balm, but they couldn't erase the sting of judgment. Marcus saw Elliot string. Over dinner one night, he proposed, "Let's move in together. Make this official." Elliot hesitated. He loved Marcus, but Liam was his priority, and Nathan's release, now 3 years away, loomed like a storm cloud. What if Nathan comes back and takes him? Elliot whispered. Marcus squeezed his hand. "We'll face it together." The promise steadied Elliot, and soon, Marcus's books lined their shelves, his laughter filled their home. Liam called him Uncle Marcus, a title that warmed Elliot's heart but stirred new fears. What would Nathan think? Trouble brewed at school. Liam, now in middle school, faced a clique of boys who mocked his family. One day, he came home with a bruised cheek, refusing to talk. Elliot's anger flared, but Marcus calmed him, saying, "He needs us to listen, not fight." They sat with Liam, who admitted the boys called Elliot names he didn't repeat. Elliot's heart sank, but he said, "You don't have to fight my battles, Liam. Just be you." That night, Liam drew a portrait of their family. Elliot, Marcus, and him, 3 figures under a starry sky, a quiet defiance. Elliot's art caught attention. A local gallery offered him a solo exhibit, a chance to share his story. He poured his soul into it, painting canvases of fractured families, vibrant communities, and Liam's bright eyes. The opening night was electric. Hundreds came, including Mrs. Carter and Javier, who beamed with pride. Liam, dressed in a tiny blazer, stood by Elliot, whispering, "You're like a superhero." But as the crowd cheered, Elliot's phone buzzed, a prison call from Nathan. His voice was rough, distant. "I'm getting out early. 2 years." The words hit like a punch. Elliot forced a smile for Liam, but dread coiled in his gut. The next year tested them. Liam, now 11, grew moody, his questions about Nathan relentless. Elliot shared what he could, Nathan's troubled youth, their fractured bond, but hid the darker rumors of Nathan's prison life. Marcus urged honesty, but Elliot feared breaking Liam's hope. Instead, he focused on their life, art classes, basketball games, movie nights. Marcus taught Liam to cook, their kitchen filled with laughter and flour. Yet every prison letter, now arriving again, felt like a countdown. Nathan's words were cryptic, hinting at plans, debts, and a need to make things right. Elliot's exhibit toured Ohio, bringing income but also scrutiny. A conservative group protested, calling his art propaganda. Hate mail arrived, some targeting Liam. Elliot shielded him, but the tension seeped into their home. One night, Liam overheard Elliot and Marcus arguing about Nathan's release. "Is Dad gonna take me away?" he asked, voice small. Elliot knelt, heartbreaking. "No one's taking you, Liam. You're ours." But as he hugged his nephew, doubt gnawed. Could he protect Liam from Nathan's pull? The community rallied. Mrs. Carter organized a block party where Liam's art was displayed beside Elliot's, a testament to their bond. Marcus proposed again, this time with a ring, under the tree mural in their apartment. Elliot said yes, tears falling, but the joy was fleeting. Nathan's release date was set, 6 months away. Elliot lay awake, imagining his twins' return, the man he no longer knew. Would Nathan see the family they'd built, or would blood demand its due? Nathan's release crept closer, a shadow over Elliot's days. Liam, now 12, was a whirlwind of energy and angst, his art darker, his questions sharper. Elliot and Marcus planned their wedding, a small ceremony at the community center, but the joy was tempered by uncertainty. Nathan's letters grew urgent, hinting at debts owed to dangerous men. Elliot kept them from Liam, but the weight pressed on him, his paintings growing stormy, all jagged lines and muted hues. The community center remained their refuge. Liam joined a theater group there, his confidence blooming as he played a lead in a school play. Elliot and Marcus cheered, but afterward, a parent's whisper cut deep. It's unnatural, 2 men raising a boy. Elliot's fists clenched, but Marcus's calm hand on his shoulder steadied him. They don't matter, Marcus said. Liam does. That night, Liam performed a monologue about family, his voice steady, eyes locked on Elliot, a silent vow of loyalty. Trouble struck at school. A bully, emboldened by his father's prejudices, cornered Liam, mocking his fake dads. Liam fought back, earning a suspension. Elliot, furious, met with the principal, who dismissed the bullying as kids being kids. Marcus intervened, advocating for Liam, and the school agreed to mediation. At home, Liam confessed, I just wanted to protect you guys. Elliot hugged him, whispering, we protect each other. But the incident left scars, and Elliot feared Nathan's return would deepen them. Elliot's art became his outlet. His latest mural, a cityscape of broken and rebuilt bridges, drew crowds, but also vandals. One night, slurs were spray-painted across it. The community rallied, repainting it with Elliot, Liam's small hands adding stars to the sky. Marcus organized a vigil, where neighbors shared stories of acceptance. A local reporter covered it, calling Elliot a voice for the marginalized. The attention brought pride, but also fear. Would Nathan see it and feel erased? Nathan's calls grew frequent, his voice rough with desperation. I need to see Liam, he said. I'm his father. Elliot's heart twisted. He wanted to believe in redemption, but Nathan's past, drugs, violence, betrayal, haunted him. Marcus urged caution, but Elliot arranged a supervised visit, hoping to bridge the gap. The day arrived, and Nathan, gaunt and tattooed, stepped into the visitation room. Liam froze, then ran to him. Nathan's embrace was stiff, his eyes scanning Elliot with a mix of guilt and defiance. You did good, brother, he said, but his tone held an edge. The visit shook Liam. He grew quiet, his sketches filled with shadows. Elliot tried to talk, but Liam shut down, torn between loyalty to his uncle and longing for his father. Marcus suggested therapy, and Liam began sessions, slowly opening up. Elliot, meanwhile, grappled with guilt. Had he failed Nathan by thriving in his absence? His paintings grew raw, earning praise but draining him. Marcus held him through sleepless nights, whispering, You're enough, Elliot. For Liam, for me. The wedding approached, a beacon of hope. Liam helped plan, designing invitations with his art. But Nathan's release date was reset, 2 months away, earlier than expected. Elliot's nightmares returned. Nathan taking Liam, their family shattered. He confided in Mrs. Carter, who said, Blood strong, but love stronger. Fight for him. Elliot nodded, but fear lingered. At the community center, he painted a new mural, a family under a stormy sky, hands clasped, unyielding. Liam's 13th birthday was bittersweet. Marcus baked a cake, and the neighborhood celebrated. But Liam's eyes kept searching for Nathan. Elliot gave him a sketchbook, inscribed, "For your stories, always." Liam hugged him, whispering, "I love you, Uncle Elliot." The words were a lifeline, but as Nathan's release loomed, Elliot felt the ground shift. Could love hold against blood's pull, or would their family fracture under its weight? Nathan's release hit like a thunderclap. He arrived in Cincinnati on a gray morning, his frame leaner, eyes harder than Elliot remembered. Liam, now 13, stood between hope and fear as Nathan stepped off the bus. Elliot watched, heart pounding, as father and son embraced, Nathan's arms hesitant but tight. Marcus stood by Elliot, a silent pillar, as Nathan's gaze met his twins, a mix of gratitude and resentment. "Thanks for keeping him," Nathan said, voice low. "But I'm back now." The transition was chaos. Nathan moved into a halfway house, but his presence disrupted their rhythm. Liam spent weekends with him, returning quiet, torn. Nathan's life was a tangle: parole meetings, job hunts, and shadows of old debts. Elliot tried to bridge the gap, inviting Nathan to dinner, but the air crackled with tension. Nathan's questions about Liam's life felt like accusations. "You let him call that guy uncle?" Elliot's patience frayed, but he held firm for Liam, who watched his father and uncle with wary eyes. Liam struggled. School friends noticed his mood swings, and his art grew chaotic, storms and broken figures. At therapy, he admitted fearing Nathan's anger, recalling snippets of his father's past. Elliot and Marcus doubled down, keeping their home a haven. They married in a quiet ceremony, Liam as their ring bearer, his smile fragile but real. Nathan attended, stiff in a borrowed suit, his silence louder than words. Afterward, he pulled Elliot aside. "I want Liam with me," he said. "He's my son." Elliot's stomach dropped. "He's our family," he countered, voice shaking. The community center became a battleground. Nathan volunteered there, trying to reconnect with Liam, but his rough edges clashed with the center's warmth. One day, he snapped at a kid, and Marcus stepped in, calm but firm. Nathan stormed out, Liam trailing him, torn. That night, Liam asked Elliot, "Does Dad hate you because of Marcus?" Elliot's heart broke. "He's just lost, Liam. We'll find a way." But doubt gnawed. Nathan's pull was strong, and blood ran deep. Trouble escalated. Nathan's old associates appeared, men with hard eyes and veiled threats. One night, they cornered Elliot outside the center, demanding Nathan settle a debt. Elliot stood his ground, but fear spiked for Liam. He told Nathan, who promised to handle it, but his secrecy alarmed Elliot. Marcus dug into Nathan's parole records, uncovering ties to a local gang. They confronted Nathan, who admitted owing money from prison deals. "I'll fix it," he swore, but his eyes betrayed panic. Liam sensed the storm. His art show at the center, a milestone, was overshadowed by Nathan's absence. Elliot and Marcus cheered, but Liam's eyes searched the crowd. Later, he found Nathan outside, arguing with a stranger. Liam ran to Elliot, scared. "Dad's in trouble, isn't he?" Elliot nodded, unable to lie. They agreed to protect Liam, but Nathan's next move shattered their hope. He took Liam to a safe place, a dingy apartment, without telling Elliot. When Elliot found them, Nathan was packing, planning to flee with Liam. "He's mine," Nathan shouted. Elliot's voice broke. "He's not a thing to claim." The confrontation exploded. Nathan accused Elliot of stealing his son, of living a life he couldn't. Elliot fought back, tears falling. "I gave him love when you couldn't." Liam, caught between them, screamed, "Stop." His voice silenced them. "I want both of you," he sobbed. Nathan's face crumpled, and for the first time, Elliot saw his twin's pain. Years of regret, trapped in a cycle he couldn't escape. They stood, three broken pieces of a family, as the night closed in. The standoff stretched into dawn. Nathan, Elliot, and Liam returned to the apartment, the air heavy with unspoken truths. Nathan's plan to flee unraveled as he saw Liam's fear. "I just wanted to be your dad," he whispered. Liam, tears streaming, said, "You are. But Uncle Elliot's my dad too." The words cut through years of pain, forcing Nathan to face his failures. Elliot, exhausted, offered a truce. "Stay. Be his father. But don't tear him apart." Nathan hesitated, then nodded. He agreed to stay in Cincinnati, work with his parole officer, and face his debts. Marcus connected him with a job at a warehouse, a small step toward stability. Elliot and Marcus opened their home, letting Nathan visit daily, rebuilding trust. Liam's relief was palpable, his art brightening, sketches of two dads and an uncle under a hopeful sky. The community center embraced Nathan, wary but willing, as Mrs. Carter slipped him cookies, saying, "Everyone gets a second chance." Challenges lingered. Nathan's creditors hovered, but Marcus's social work contacts linked Nathan to legal aid, slowly untangling his debts. Elliot's murals gained national attention, funding the center's expansion. Liam, now 14, thrived in school, his theater performances drawing crowds. One night, he performed a play he wrote, a story of two brothers, one in chains, one in color, raising a boy together. The audience wept, Nathan and Elliot side by side, their hands brushing, a silent apology. The family reshaped itself. Nathan rented a small apartment nearby, his visits regular, his bond with Liam growing through basketball games and late-night talks. Elliot and Marcus, now married, balanced their roles, their love a steady anchor. One evening, at a community block party, Liam unveiled a mural he'd painted with Elliot, a vibrant city, families of all kinds woven together. Nathan added a stroke, his first art since childhood, a quiet nod to his twin. The crowd cheered, and Elliot felt a weight lift. Blood and love could coexist. Years later, Liam, now 18, stood at his high school graduation, Elliot, Marcus, and Nathan in the front row. His valedictorian speech spoke of family, not just blood, but choice, forged in struggle and love. He looked at his dads and uncle, saying, "You taught me home is where we fight for each other." Nathan, eyes wet, clapped hardest, his redemption a quiet victory. Elliot and Marcus held hands, their journey complete, yet ongoing. The story didn't end neatly. Nathan's past lingered, a shadow that never fully faded. Elliot and Marcus faced judgment, but their love stood firm. Liam, carrying both his father's fire and his uncle's heart, chose a path of art and advocacy, his murals spreading hope. In the end, blood didn't decide, love did, weaving a family from broken threads into something whole, vibrant, and unyielding.